Hey there, welcome everybody to this live broadcast here. My name is Josh Carey, Pet Sittingology, and you are in for a really good special, dare I say, impromptu treat. Many of you know we are actively on baby watch here. Baby number 2 in my household is arriving any day now, and I wasn't planning on doing any sort of formal video trainings for obvious reasons, but I do have my phone close by, and Danica is going to become a big sister to a little baby brother any day now. We couldn't be more excited, but everything is in check, in place, and I'm excited to do this. First, let's introduce the lady across the aisle, as they say. We got Laura Capra on board. How are you, Laura?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to do this impromptu, kind of when the opportunity presents itself after the unbelievable Copyblogger conference. I'm jumping out of my skin to share everything. So hopefully Heather will be good on Baby Watch, and I'm betting my bets are on June 5th for the day.
Oh my gosh, June 5th. Well, we are taking odds Vegas style, so anything goes right now. So let's talk about what this is. Before we get into it, as you know, this very training session is brought to you by our conference, the 4th annual Pet Care Visibility Conference, happening live and in Las Vegas this October 4th through the 7th, a 4-day event created to up the visibility in your own business, both locally in your community and online, every which way. We're going to be announcing the speakers this upcoming week after this one. So I guess that means next week. We're going to be announcing the speakers. You are in for big treats. Best pricing still available up to the end of the month, and then price increases. So head on over to PetSittingLive.com for all the details and to register. Speaking of conferences, let's talk about why you are here today, because we have a lot to cover. We're going to jump right into it. So a few months ago, we sent Laura, well, she actually just got back, but they announced the Copyblogger conference, right? Where was it held? Tell us that first of all.
In my backyard in Denver. I live about an hour north of Denver in Boulder County, and with meeting Jared and Beth Hayes at the previous Pet Sittingology conferences, I couldn't not go to a Copyblogger conference that was right in my backyard. So, and it was due 100% to my networking with you, with Jared, with Beth, of knowing Copyblogger and knowing how much content, online content, has impacted our business for the better. So it was awesome. It was just down the street.
Well, that's great. And let me give everybody a quick insight as to what my excitement is about regarding Copyblogger. I've not been quiet about this. I look up to every single thing Copyblogger does. First of all, 6 years ago, when I didn't even have the idea for Pet Sittingology, I was online going through some sites, and I came across the right thing at the right time, which was a program back in 2009 that Copyblogger was offering called Teaching Cells, which they no longer offer. But at the time, it spoke to me, and I said, I want to go through this program with them. So I signed up, I joined, and from there, I was able to create what became Pet Sittingology in every way. So I have a very strong and personal connection to them. And furthermore, since I've had that original relationship established, year one, when we put on our own conference, and every year since, I've reached out to my contact there and let them know what I'm doing. And I said, do you have somebody in your world that you can suggest from the Copyblogger team to come to Vegas and speak as a speaker to our people? And every single year they have sent someone to join us in Vegas. So they are a fan. I'm a fan. They are incredible. So we sent Laura to spend a couple of days there. And the whole time she's blowing up my phone, as I wanted her to, texting me all these tweets, all these ideas. And I said, well, why don't we take a good portion of these, or a small handful of these, and review them for you, for our industry here, and figure out how we could apply what you've learned to our everyday. Is that
Yep.
sort of how it went?
Yep.
All right, good. So we're going to jump right in. We have a list of 5 things. As you know, you guys are great keeping the dialogue going there. So she spent a few days there submersed, and brought back a handful of, well, we handpicked 5 of these, and we're going to go through them right now, one by one, and show you how you can make them work for you. So the first is your brand voice attracts the like-minded and repels the timid. Your brand voice attracts the like-minded and repels the timid. This was said by Anne Hadley. I always say like attracts like. I'm sure this is something similar. What is your initial take on this comment?
We want to attract people that are like us, not only that have the same personalities, have the same kind of moral guideline, moral compass, that have the same outlook on how to take care of their pets. So that's what you want to convey on your website, in any of your networking, in any of your marketing, in all of your content, because you want to attract people like you. I am never going to write a blog post or any type of content or have a picture of a dog chained to a tree in a backyard saying, oh, isn't Boomer so cute chained up in a backyard? Because that's not the type of client that I want. I'm going to be taking pictures of dogs on hikes because I like to hike. We're going to be maybe posting pictures and talking about content on overnight pet sitting, because that's a service that we offer. So dogs kind of snuggling with us on the couch and watching a movie or something like that, because that's the type of client that I want to attract. When they come into my website and they see a picture of a dog snuggling on the couch with me, they're going to be like, when I'm gone, I want my dog to do that. That's what I want. Let me give Laura a call. So that's our brand, and that's us. So if you take your website, cover up your logo or your banner ad, and just analyze the content, can you see yourself in it? Does your personality come through? Does do your goals of your business come through? Or is it generic content? Does it just say, oh, I'm insured and bonded, I love, love, love pets, we'll treat your pets like your pets, like our pets? Is it generic? You want to stand out.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because all things being equal, your potential client would have no choice but to then compete on price, because everyone is saying and doing the same thing. So it is so important. We talk about your brand voice. That's the first part of this. And the outcome of that is that it attracts the like-minded. It attracts who you want to attract. So it's twofold here. Your brand voice, it's your voice. It's what you put out in words, in video, in audio, in tools, how you serve your audience on your website and in your other promotional areas, but how you serve them through your voice. And it is not just about using the same verbiage that everybody or anybody else does. And you don't even have to think how to not use that. You don't have to think how to be yourself, because, dare I say, you are yourself. You're already waking up as you, as the uniqueness that you bring to the table, right? You're already coming to your day, to your business, to your life with your own history and your own thoughts and your own ideas. So instead of taking, these are the 5 reasons you should use a professional pet sitter, while that might be okay on your website, fine, you have to go 10 steps further from that by using your voice, which is just your own ideas, your own thoughts, your own theories, your own goals, your own insight. And that does go back to the content you create and what you publish and what you put out. But I will continue to reiterate that you already have your unique voice because you are a unique person.
And that's enough. Everybody's like, oh, I need to compare myself to the competition. I need to be better than they are. And we'll get to another quote kind of later in our talk. But one thing she also said was, and I might have even been in a Seinfeld episode, you would know this, you do you. Kind of in the acting world, nobody else can play you better than you. You do you. And that's enough. If you have an analytical mind and you want to know answers to all of the little detail questions, that's the audience that you can want to speak to, because that's who is like you, and that's who you're going to develop a relationship with. And pet sitting is all about relationships and loyal clients. They'll continue to use you. They'll refer you to their clients who are also analytical thinkers and have 10 pages of notes. That's fantastic. Or are you more of a, hey, I want clients that don't really check in with me, and I kind of, hey, no news is good news type thing? Is that your type of client? So, and you and I, kind of as a hint to everybody, you and I have been working on an ideal client assessment test to go through to really pinpoint on who your ideal client is, and all of this information is going to be able to help you reach that ideal client. So we can help you figure out who you want to attract. Our clients are not anybody with a pet. I don't want to get a call from somebody who's like, hey, can you visit my cat every third day? She'll be fine. Just throw some dry food down. That's not my client. That's not who is like me. That's not who I'm trying to attract. And I'm hoping by being myself and the you do you on our website, that's not going to attract that type of client. They're like, oh, you're kind of a little more involved than I want to be. Let me move on, which is fantastic. Go ahead and move on.
And everybody who comes across your website and your brand is going to make a very quick judgment on whether or not they want to invest more of their time into seeing if you are the right fit. You know this, within 5 seconds, they are either inching forward into your website or they're pushing the back button and going elsewhere. So you want to do everything you possibly can to attract and connect with the people you want to attract and connect with by putting yourself out there. That's why we say create the content, write the resources, create the videos, offer the tools and the expertise that you already have. Start keeping a journal, or however you like to document things. Day to day, you are coming across all of the things that need to be on your website, because let's say you have a blank slate here, and this is your website. You're going to start putting out your own content and the stuff that you know that you want people to relate to, because the more people that relate to the real you, which is something we're going to continue to drill home as we move down this list, you are sort of inching out the side here, right? So you're creating this content and your goal is to get to center, where your ideal clients meet you. Let's call center your website. You're doing all the things you can off to the side here so you can inch closer to center and get out all of the stuff you do. So the right people here will say, oh my gosh, oh, look at this. And then, and then you guys are inching closer and inching closer until you connect. And then the person says, I have to hire this pet sitter. I only hope to goodness she's available because I want her. Please be available. Isn't that what we want? And it's possible. Just be you, find your voice and get it out there. You already have your voice because you are unique. You have thoughts, you have ideas, you have insight. Just put them on your site as unique as you. Good. We'll move on to number 2.
So hold on. The 2 takeaways from this quote would be an exercise to do. Go to your website, cover up your logo. Do you see your personality shining through in your pictures, in your content? Have your friends do it, have your spouse do it, have your family do it. If you cover up your logo, do you see you? And how does that come out? And if you don't, that's kind of where you want to tweak it and bring your in, because those are the type of clients that you want to attract.
That's right. That's right. Good. So number 2, that was your brand voice attracts the like-minded. So in order to attract the like-minded to you, you have to put it out there on a regular, consistent, wonderful, unique basis because you are unique. Number 2, change your, this one is, I love this one. Change your perception. It's no longer look at me. It's rather I see you. Change your perception. It's no longer look at me. It's I see you. And this was quoted by Bernadette Jiwa at the conference. This is phenomenal. It's not look at me, hey, look at my website. Oh, I'm big and flashy. Here I am. It's I see you. And by I see you, we mean you understand your audience, your potential clients. They need to know that you see them, because the minute they do, they're going to say, I want to hire this person. So what did you take away from this, Laura? That it's not look at me, it's I see you.
And a resounding theme that really kind of comes home with this quote is empathy. Everybody wants to be heard. Your customers want to be heard. They want to be understood. They want you to get them. So it's not about, I need bling on my website. I need big letters. I need all this. And I need to compete with the other pet sitters in town. I don't care about the pet sitters in town. I care about my clients and the ideal client that I want to reach. And I do this by being empathetic towards them. What are your problems? Because one of the things that Bernadette had also said, that people are afraid of looking stupid and feeling stupid, and they don't want to take risk. So have your website reduce the risk. What are the risks of hiring a pet sitter? I want to make sure that they're going to show up. I want to make sure that they have experience. And then biggest of all, I want to make sure that they have experience with my needs. I want you to understand the needs of my animals, because in an equal world, if you see 2 pet sitter websites, they're great. They're the same price. Everything's across the board. But if I have horses and one pet sitter has horse experience and one pet sitter does not have horse experience, 100% of the time, I'm going to go with the pet sitter that has horse experience, even if they're more expensive, even if whatever kind of the differences are. I want anybody I hire for my pets to understand me and be like, okay, I know that you're nervous about leaving. Because gosh, even I was an hour away. I spent the night down in Denver, and I made my husband send me texts, pictures of my dogs, and he's like, come home if you want to see them. I'm like, just can you send me a text? So I want to be heard from my animals. And that's what your website is there for your clients. It's not there for you.
I love that.
For other pet sitters in town. It is there specifically to reach your audience, to have your audience then become paying clients. So your website and your content is your specific tool. So blogging about and everybody in the pet sitting world, hey, I have experience with pets. Great. Hopefully, if anybody in the pet sitting industry is going to be a pet sitter, you have some experience with pets. That's the baseline. So how can you go beyond that? Right. This is my specialty experience with pets that nobody else in town has. I have owned a dog that has seizures, so I know exactly what a grand mal seizure looks like. I've owned a diabetic cat, so I know exactly not only how to diagnose, how to treat, how to give insulin shots, how to notice a crash. So I want somebody who has the same experience. I want to make sure that a pet sitter can see me and my issues.
And this is great because it's tying into everything we're talking about, getting to know your ideal and who you want to attract. So to expand on what you were just saying, Laura, we've had the conversation a lot about when you ask somebody, hey, who's your ideal client? The worst answer is anybody with a pet. And while that might sound, well, no, I do want anybody with a pet, fine, perhaps, but really it's too broad and you're going to attract nobody, because you do have ideals and boundaries. Do you want anybody with a pet? Does that include multi-pet households? Does that include puppies? Does that include dogs that might nip at strangers? Does that include pullers on a leash? Does it include somebody who works 9 to 5 and says, I crate my dog 18 hours, just show up for 10 minutes, take him out and put him back? That's what I want. Is that your ideal client? Does it include someone who wants every other day visits, which I know we're talking about here? So there are so many things that you do not want. Hone it down so your potential client recognizes themselves in you and says, this is the person, not just anybody with a pet. That doesn't work today, and it's not going to work. You can help yourself work better. So you do have clients that you prefer. Do you want a client that can schedule themselves? So do you want to attract those more tech savvy clients, or no? Are you okay walking all of your clients through the process? Whichever side you fall on, right for that. Start telling them about the process. When you work with me, you can book yourself because I know you're busy and on the run. Those are the people we work with, etc.
Yep. And I see you, I see my client, I see the risks that you're worried about, and I'm going to help you alleviate your risks. So you're not in a beach in Australia and you get a text from some pet sitter you hired that was like, hey, I got an invitation for a party. I'm going to bounce. The dogs are outside. They should be fine. It's warm enough. I left them with water. Now, I see the risks that my ideal clients are worried about. I address them in my content with blogging, with the verbiage that I use on my website, with pictures. Images are huge. So it's a combination of the big picture. We're in the peace of mind business that happens to specialize in pets. So if you can focus on how are you going to give your clients peace of mind around their pet, you're going to have a client for life.
Yeah, and I hope everybody watching is sort of getting this and putting the pieces together, because when we talk so often about create content, write on your site, offer videos and how-tos and insight and audio and some whatever resources you can, and publish articles, it's because you want to position yourself in the perfect light that attracts your ideal client. And really, that's the only way to do it. If we have, like we used to, just a static web page with a handful of pages, we have no choice but to compete on price because it's all the same. But if we bring ourselves to the table and we say, this is who I am, this is who I cater to, this is who I work with, this is who I like, this is why we do this. You know what? One of my recent new clients, it's an adorable little dog. Here's a video of him. Here's a picture of him. He's a little bit of a puller. So this is how we overcome this problem. And guess what? Somebody's going to find your site and say, that's my dog.
I have a dog with a puller.
Exactly. I only want that pet sitter. So when it clicks, offer you do you, we keep going back to. So that's the look at me. It should not be look at me. It's I see you, which is just getting inside of the mind of your ideal client and catering to them. Damien did say earlier here, be a problem solver for your clients. And that's something that we're going to touch upon in one of the later ones here. That's all it is. It's being a problem solver.
Yep.
Let's move on to number 3, shall we?
We shall.
All right. Number 3 says, we are responsible for the experience of our audience. Authenticity, that's the key word right there. Authenticity is where knowing yourself and knowing your audience connect. Authenticity is where knowing yourself and knowing your audience connect. This was said by our good friend, Jared Morris. Jared. We've had Jared on the show because last year for our 3rd annual those of you who made it to that conference know that Jared was one of our featured speakers. He's from the Copyblogger team. He's one of the ones that Copyblogger sent. And Jared is still a huge fan of our industry. You ran into him at this conference, right?
I did. Yep. I ran into him. He recognized me, gave me a big hug, kind of asked how the PSO crew was doing. So passed on all of our updates and that we're kind of implementing everything. If you were at the conference that you learned from the conference, we talked about his, he has a min pin named Rebels. So it's all of that little networking at the conferences through the PSO forum boards online and stuff like that, that you can really make connections with people. And that's what content is all about. There's no way, had I not hooked up to the conference, gone to the conference, made a point to introduce myself to Jared, that I would have even been at the Copyblogger conference to then have him be like, hey, Laura, what's going on? How are you? How's everybody doing? So it escalates it to the next level of building a relationship, which is what you want to do with your clients, because then, number one, they're going to be loyal. They're not going to go anywhere. And number two, they're going to refer you to all of their friends with pets. And if it's already one of your favorite clients, they probably have similar personalities with their friends that treat their animals in a similar way that you agree with. And the ripple effect of all of it just kind of goes out from there. So then you don't even have to take calls from people who are like, hey, I chained my dog to the tree. If it's nice out, can you just give them some water? They're not even going to call you. It's such a waste of time. And then it really helps with burnout. You would love your job again. It's like, oh, think about having your ideal client all of the time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't quibble about price, because I think that's the one basis that we all have, is that, hey, I bet your ideal client doesn't try to get you to give discounts. They pay your rates, no questions asked.
Right, because they so badly want to work with
value
you, because you've already done the front end work. Did we see what Rita wrote? Let me put this front and center. I'm going to broadcast this. Look what she writes. She says, I can tell when I've got an ideal client on the line because they are already pre-sold by the content on my website. There you go. It makes sense and it works. So let's talk about what Jared said. Authenticity is where knowing yourself and knowing your audience connect. What is authenticity? What does it mean to be authentic? It's just being sincere. It's being genuine, right? When you're authentic, there's a genuine desire to help. And isn't that really, I mean, how many times do I hear and see from pet sitters on our boards, in emails, on the phone? I got into this because I want to help. I want to help the pets. I want to help the owners with a good, humane, responsible solution. Yes, we all want to help. So you're already there. You entered this industry because you have a desire to help. Now you simply have to broadcast that. You have to display that. Be authentic by being genuine in your desire to help. And you do that by offering as much as you can on your website and on the phone and in person and to the human and to the pet. Right? Is that authenticity?
Yeah, because you don't want to lie on your resume. And if you do, you're probably going to get hired for a job that you don't like, that you don't know how to do, that you don't want to do, and then you're going to be miserable. So it goes all back to the theme of you do you. There are Rita and I believe Emily Zeibel out in San Francisco. Their pet sitting business is cats only. If you would have told me 4 years ago that there's a successful pet sitter that only does cats, my jaw would have dropped.
And Rita does it in 2 locations.
You have to do dogs, cats, you have to do it all, and you have to do it all to all clients. You got to do what works for you and what you want to do, because then you're not going to be any good to yourself. You're not going to be any good to your clients. Why should somebody who doesn't know anything about horses? You shouldn't say yes to a client that has horses. You just don't do it. Don't go there, because then you're not going to feel stressed. You're not going to get burned out. If you're authentic and true to yourself, what you want to do, and I think it was Tabitha too, she only works Monday through Friday. She doesn't work on the weekends. What do you mean? Our biggest clients take long weekends. They go out of town, they travel. Of course I work weekends, but that's not what she wanted. That's not where she wanted her business to go. So of course her focus is on people who probably commute, maybe busy stay-at-home moms that don't have time for the dog. So that's where her content is going to be directed so she can stay true to herself and take her own weekend getaways and then hire a pet sitter who does want to work the weekend. So you got to be true to what you want to do, to your business goals, to your personal goals, because then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about who you are talking to. It all ties in, knowing your ideal client, speaking to them, offering them the solutions to their problems. So if you know your ideal client, like let's say you want those dailies and you know your ideal client is a 9 to 5 office worker, what further problems or issues or needs does that person have that may not even tie in to the pet? So get into the mind. I'm sure you may have been, look at your excitement. I love it. You may have been one of those 9 to 5 office workers before you entered this industry. So perhaps you know firsthand what they're going through. What do they want? First of all, you know they don't want to spend any length of time researching and interviewing pet sitters. They want to find one and done. So get in their head and determine what lifestyle they're living that you can relate to them on.
Yes, because your experience, your specialty experience is going to speak to the people that you want to have as clients. So yeah, if you were an office worker, got tired of the daily grind, but you had dogs at home, you know exactly what they're going through. I'm sure if you work 8-9 hours a day, the last thing you want to come home to is kind of a needy pet that needs a walk. So I'm tired after a long day. I want to come home to a tired and happy pet. So what are my options? I can hire a pet sitter to come in once or twice a day. They're perfect. I can just kind of chill with my dog, which is exactly what I want to do at the end of the day. Call, book, done.
Yeah, and I love hearing that you just tied it into you sort of worked it out through yourself and thought, well, the last thing I want to do as a 9 to 5er any day of the week is come home to a needy dog. So good. I'm going to address that on my website. I'm going to talk about how you either on your own, I'll give you some exercises and things you can do to sort of get your dog less needy while you're at work. And then, of course, the implication is, or you can hire us and we can assist with that. But you're not leading with that. You're leading with the authenticity. You're leading with the genuine desire to help.
And a solution. Yep. The authenticity and the solution, which is, we'll get to it, I think, possibly in the next quote. Yeah. You're offering solutions to their problems. Should we move right into that one?
We absolutely can. Before we do, though, I have the note here. We spoke about Jared Morris and how he's our brand new friend from last year's in-person Vegas conference, which has to tie in to somebody else who was also at the Copyblogger conference. She is one of the recent additions to the Copyblogger team. She's VP of Educational Content. Her name is Pamela Wilson, and you saw her speak there, correct?
I did. Yep. She was one of the speakers and really talks about the kind of across the board what people are looking for, because she had opened a business in Florida, had then moved to South America, and she's like, how am I going to reach this new audience? And she's like, there are some things across the board that are the same. So she talked about that here at the Copyblogger conference, and I got to talk to her because...
Well, you got to talk to her because we will drop the tease right here and now, even though we didn't announce any of this. Pamela Wilson is the confirmed speaker in our 4th annual Vegas conference. She is the represented Copyblogger person who they are sending to us live and in Vegas this October for us. So she was already booked and on board. We worked out all the details. And then she said, hey, are you going to be at our Copyblogger conference? And I said, well, I am not. However, we are sending Laura down. And she says, connect us, make sure she finds me. And she did. So Pamela is going to be speaking to us in Vegas about branding and how to increase visibility to your content, to your website through proper branding, through social media outlets, through the correct use of images. It's all a branding session with her. So petsittinglive.com to get the tickets. Current installments are available. When you check out, you have the two options: pay in full, pay it over time, your choice. Let's make it happen. All right. Number four indeed says, this is a good one. This is what Damien was talking about. Customers can now solve problems on their own. We need to be problem finders and offer solutions they didn't know they needed. Oh my goodness. Customers can now solve problems on their own. We need to be problem finders and offer solutions they didn't know they needed. This was said by Dan Pink. Let's go. Tell me about your thought on that one.
And he was the opening keynote speaker, and I knew the conference was going to be awesome. He comes out and it's just like, it's awesome. So content is a way, kind of like we were talking about before, somebody who works from 9 to 5 might not even know that a dog walker industry exists. They don't have that problem yet. They have a problem of, I get home from work, I'm exhausted, my dog has been whatever inside all day, needs a walk, and I just want to sit down on the couch and put my feet up, have a beer. What do I do? So they don't have a pet sitter problem. They have I come home and want to relax, but I have a dog problem. So we need to find the problems that our ideal clients may have when they don't even know that they have a pet sitter or a dog walking problem. Somebody who works all day, their dog might be chewing the couch. So they don't have a dog walker or a pet sitter problem. They might not even know we exist. They have I think my dog is bored and he's chewing the couch problem. What do I do? So we can that can be the title of the blog. My dog is chewing the couch when I'm at work. What are my options? You can do Kongs, you can do whatever, toys. You can hire a pet sitter. And if they're on your site getting the exact answer they need, they'll be like, oh my God, a pet sitter is the perfect solution. I need to call them right now. I need to email them, however you want them to contact you. It should be very easy for them to contact you and be like, hey, I was reading your blog about a chewing problem. I have that exact same problem, and you can help me solve it. So if you have your ideal clients are vacationers, kind of think about what they're worried about. You want to reduce their risk. You want to answer all of their questions before they call you. So then, like Rita said, they've already made a decision before they've made the phone call. So it takes out the sales pitch out of everything. You don't have to give a sales pitch anymore, because that can be in your content. My 11-year-old knows, be like, Mom, you're not going to know the answer. I'm just going to Google it. And she'll go and Google it. So people can find answers to the questions they have. So now it's our responsibility to answer those questions, to be there for them, to be empathetic, to understand their needs, to then take it from there. So then we can teach them that they have a pet sitting problem. And another thing that you want to think about, what stage of buying is your client in? Do they not know that pet sitters exist? Do they know that pet sitters exist but aren't really sure about the process? Are they already sold on you because a friend referred them? They look at your website and they love them. So there are 3 different kind of realms that you want to do all of them.
Yeah. I love this, because the thing you said that just hit me was, when somebody's packing for vacation, if you want to attract the vacation clients, if they're someone on your ideal client list, well, get into their head. What steps are they taking? something like how to pack for vacation without upsetting your dog.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your dog knows when you take out that suitcase that, oh, he's going to the kennel like usual. And oh my goodness, now things got to change. So what can you do? How can you involve your pet in the packing process so as not to upset? And there's so much you can do with that. Go ahead.
And even, we just got this, and I just pulled it. I didn't even think. It says summer getaways. So they have 13 road trips from my area in town of what to do, what quick road trips. So it doesn't even have to be about pets.
Exactly.
If you do vacationers or quick weekend getaway clients, your client wants to know where they can go for a weekend. Hey, what is there around town to do within a 3-hour driving distance? My husband got the time, we all got time off from work on Friday and Monday. Summer vacation is out. We want to go away for 4 days. First thing they're going to do, road trips within driving distance of XYZ town. Bam, if your blog pops up of, hey, you can go to Colorado Springs and do this, you can go to Wyoming and do this, you can go to the beach, you can go to the city, here are the shows that are in town in the city. So if they're like, we've never fed giraffes at the Colorado Springs Zoo, let's go there this weekend. Oh wait, we need a pet sitter. Oh wait, I'm on a pet sitter site. They're not going to call anybody else. They're going to call you because you solved their problem before they even had a pet sitting problem.
Right. Or something like, yeah, of course. It's like the Elks Club is having a picnic today or a parade today.
Yep.
And find out if it's dog and pet friendly. If it is, even better. Hey, bring your pet to this event that's happening today. You want to take it one step further, and I guarantee you all you have to do is put out one email or one phone call. Get the organizer of any of those events in your town or location or area, or not even, and say, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions that I can help publicize and promote. Send them 3 or 5 questions that you can then use the answers, the Q&A. It's a blog post. Say, can I get you on a quick recorded phone call and I can share this information? Tell us about your pet-friendly picnic that wasn't even billed as pet-friendly, but you are looking for opportunity. You're putting 2 and 2 together and saying, I want to get the organizer to just help me, because now you're using some higher credibility on your blog because you have the organizer of this parade who's saying, yeah, come on down, bring your pet. We actually have bowls of water set up all throughout for the pets. Now you are the problem finder and solver.
And then you can link, then the organizer is probably going to share it on their site. You have the link to that site, which all the Google bots like. And then, and even broaden your mind of then, okay, these are pet friendly events and these are not pet friendly events. So if you want to go to these events, call me, I'm a pet sitter. You can also, with this kind of topic, jump on the trending now. A couple weeks ago, we have a lot of rattlesnakes in the area, and there was a hiker that got bit. She's fine, whatever, but it was all in the news and all kind of on local internet. Oh, watch out for rattlesnakes. Oh, I call my vet. Hey, can I ask you a couple questions about what to do when your dog gets bit by a rattlesnake? So I post it. It's trending now because everybody's searching for it. Everybody's nervous about it. What do you do when your dog gets bit by a rattlesnake? So that's on my page. I linked to his vet office. He posted it on his vet page, so then all of his clients look at it. And then I was able to do a second one of Longmont vet clinics that carry the anti-venom. Because if your dog gets bit, you might not have read my blog. You just have a dog that gets bit by a rattlesnake and it's a holy crap, I don't know what to do. Where can I go that has the anti-venom? Not all clinics carry it. So that was an additional blog that I could kind of piggyback on the trending now that had valuable information, problem-solving information that had nothing directly to do with pet sitting other than they were on my site. And if they're like, ooh, you helped save the life of my pet, who do you think they're going to call for the rest of their life for pet sitting?
That's right. And you bring up a very good point about if you do that, like with the vet, which is very easy. You can call any vet and according
and
to
ask any question to any vet. They love it.
Of course they do. Or any event organizer or apartment complex, pet friendly. Start to get others involved in your posts, and you'll open up an entire world of relevant content that is shareable. And Laura, you mentioned something about a link on their site. So if something is shared and promoted on another great site that you have connected with, that works, because that is, like you said, Google loves that, because it's a point in Google's eye saying, well, if this reputable website is sharing and linking to this pet sitter website because they're talking about pet friendly stuff, then it really must be valuable. We as Google are going to feel more inclined, more motivated and inspired to show it in the search results, because it's getting all of these shares from these really reputable sites.
Yeah. And you can also kind of, the proof is in the proof is in the petting foot.
Could be.
It's one thing to tell people on the phone, yeah, Dr. Cousins over at Pella Animal Clinic likes me, refers me. It's another thing for them to go into his clinic and be like, oh, I'm looking for a pet sitter. Who do you recommend? Go call Laura. She's fantastic. I have her business card here in the reception desk. You should totally call her. She's fantastic. It just brings it to the next level. I can talk the talk all I want, but posting the content, reaching out to local vets, local groomers, local organizers, local whomever, because your clients have life issues. They might need a new mechanic. Has nothing to do with pet sitting, but if you have a network of people, then you can kind of talk about that, and it just adds value. It adds information, and people pay for value. They're not going to bicker. The more kind of information you can give them, the more they are going to recognize their value, the more they're going to pay your prices, whatever they are. If you charge $10 or $100 for a pet sitting visit, it doesn't matter. It's your value that they are going to look at and be loyal to, which is your brand.
Yeah, and one statistic and quote I want to attribute to our great friend Marcus Sheridan. He says 70% of the research and buying decision is done before the potential client ever makes contact with you. So you know as well as I do, because you do it and we all do it. We research and we sell ourselves, and we get all of the information before we ever contact the owner or the salesperson for whatever we're looking to buy. And the strength these days is no longer in the business owner's court. It is in the buyer's court, our potential client's court. They do all the research behind the scenes, and then only when they feel like we get them and we can connect with them is when they get in touch with us.
Exactly. And I'm going to chime in kind of, and
please.
Marcus talks about this at the conference, the CarMax. The used car sales is the old school, typical, sleazy, pushy, all of that, that's out. If you can go into a car place and the guy could be like, oh, I'll give you this for $5,000. You can go on your phone and be like, beep, 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 beep. They can do it for $2,000. What do you got? So the buyer has the power. They have the power to get the information. They're going to do all of the research, and then they're going to call you. And I want to touch on Elaine's post. She says,
we're all going to touch on that.
When keeping up with all this for your website, when do you have time to actually do your job? The great thing about content is once you put it out there, once you get your content on your website, once you have your pictures, once you have your images, it's there. It doesn't go away. It changes. I have blog posts from 2 years ago that are still getting click-throughs because it's still relevant information. I could update it if it needed to be updated, but the rattlesnake post is going to be the same, what to do if your dog gets bit by a rattlesnake, for years to come, unless they come up with a new antivenom. So once you won't take the time it takes, so it takes less time. You really only have to do it once. And if you don't have time one week, not to write a blog post, or if you don't have time one week, that's okay. We are crazy full, really, from this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, through June 10th. I'm not sweating, oh my God, I have to get a blog post out. Oh my God, I have to update my content. I have to do this. it'll happen when it happens. So once you have the foundation and your template for the PSO websites, have it fantastic. It's a proven kind of visual that works with everything. Once you have that done, you don't need to be revisiting. Yes, you can delve into all the different plugins and post on 10 different social media sites. We post on 2, maybe. And we'll get that into that as a different time, but it's okay. Don't pressure yourself to get it all done right now. It will come.
And great answer. And Elaine, like others are saying, you are asking the $1 million question is when nobody has any time for anything. I get that. However, we do have a business. We do have goals. We want to achieve certain things, right? So let me take a step back and put it this way. A lot of the things we are talking about, you are already doing and exercising. All you have to do is gather it in a tangible format. In other words, you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you don't have to spend additional time deciding what to write and how to write. For example, every email that you are replying to perhaps is a chunk of a blog post. So start going through what you've already written in an email, or dare I say, what you've already posted on Facebook in a group. If you have replied to a thread in a group, chances are that's your thought and that's the basis of a blog post. So take that while you're on Facebook, say, oh my gosh, I have this idea. This is how I handle it. This is what I do. Bing. I need to get that to my audience because this makes sense for me. So I'm going to copy that and paste it, and you've already done it. So you've taken the time, but now you're repurposing it. So everything you reply to online, everything that you read online, every email that you reply to a new client, a current client, an update, a status, something is already in the written form for your website. Also, when you're on a phone call talking to new potential clients, all of that is blog post material. You can actually record your end of the conversation. If you're on your landline, take your cell phone, which has an audio recorder, most typically, and just record the conversation, your end of it. So you're already getting this dialogue out. And then you can do things with that. You can edit it. You can hire someone for $5 on Fiverr to do it. You can transcribe it. You can hire someone for $5 to transcribe it. So it's just changing your perception. We're not asking you to carve out additional hours. We're asking you to rethink and repurpose what you are already doing. I always reiterate the fact that you have an abundance of information that you all are already regurgitating out there. Again, it's in the form of emails. It's in the form of updates. It's in the form of Facebook posts. It's in the form of phone conversations. It's in the form of dialogue at the meet and greet. So you already have it. Just take 5 or 10 minutes, jot it down. Nothing has to be perfect. Find a system for yourself, whether it's an app on your phone. I love and use Evernote, which is a free app that goes on your phone. It goes on your computer. It goes online. It all syncs together wherever you want it to go. So just find a system that works, and you should slowly find the time.
And I think slowly is the key word. Don't jump into the deep end of the pool. If you blog first about the questions that you know the answers to. Some people don't know, hey, I've never hired a pet sitter before. What's it like? So, hey, you're going to call me. We're going to schedule a meet and greet. We're going to do this. So walk them through it. So the information, like Josh said, is already there. You already have it. So don't kind of stress about, oh my God, I need to do 2 blog posts a week and I need to get all this out and I need to change my website. Efficiency is one of my strengths. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to bash my head against the wall until it works. We take our top 3 marketing efforts every year and we get rid of the rest. We only do 3. We only focus on what works, what our clients like, and where our clients are. So don't worry about, oh, I need to install these 10 plugins to make it more do this and do. Take a deep breath. and figure out what's going to work for you and your schedule. I have a business. I still do the pet sit visits. I probably do 75 a month, and I still run the business. We have staff that I manage. I'm a wife. I have an 11-year-old daughter and animals of my own. So it's not adding things to your plate. This is all about being more efficient for the things that are on your plate, so you can actually start to push things off of your plate.
Great. Let's wrap it up with the number 5.
My favorite.
The number 5 quote is.
Can I say it?
Yeah,
Can I say
please.
it?
It's all you. Go ahead.
Different is better than better. Different is better than better.
I know. It took me like a half hour to really understand where that was going. Different is better than better, says Sally Hogshead. And we do have, and we'll post in the comments and on the page here, there's a link Sally is offering. She has a free personality assessment, right? Tell us about that.
It is. It's a personality assessment, but it goes back to what Bernadette was saying. It's not how you see the world and your personality. It's how the world sees you and what your personality is like and who is attracted to your personality. Not if you're an introvert or an extrovert, or a new word that I learned, ambivert, which is apparently a combination of both of them. Dan Pink talked about ambiverts. Different is better than better, and we are all different. And it really tied the whole conference and even this whole hangout together. You be you. Don't try to replicate yourself or duplicate yourself. You want to optimize yourself, and you want to optimize your strength. If you just want to do cats, just do cats. There are so many successful businesses. Just do cats. That's your strength. That's your, she talks about your fascination. What fascinates other people about you? Not what you're fascinated by, but what are your core strengths that people see and are drawn to? Those are the type of clients that you want. Different is better than better. So I don't need to be better than the other pet sitters. I just need to be different. So
And guess what?
How are we different?
Well, yeah, guess what? You already wake up and you're different because you're you,
Done.
I'm me, right? And
Yep.
what I said when we were brainstorming this session was you don't have to learn how to be different. You just have to unlearn how not to be better. Right?
Exactly. And that was actually one of her quotes. You don't learn how to be different or fascinating. You unlearn how to be boring. We have one of our niches is special needs pets. So it's not across the board. Pet sitters have experience with pets. That's your baseline. So what's your special experience with pets? If I have a dog that has seizures and there is a pet sitter out there that has experience with dogs with seizures, I don't even need to look at anybody else. Who am I going to hire every single time? Who am I going to talk to my vet about? Oh, hey, I found a pet sitter that knows about dogs that have seizures, and she's fantastic. Rita just does cats. So she should be the only cat sitter, I think, North Carolina and California. Rita is where you are. She should be the only cat sitter that I would recommend down there, that I would use, because she doesn't have all this other info in her head about dogs and cats and lizards and frogs and stuff like that. She knows cats, which makes her different, which makes her better for
That's right.
particular client. Different is better than better.
You love that. It's almost like we should get a bumper sticker. Before we wrap this up, if everybody in the comment section will be so kind, before we part ways today, let us know what's on your mind. Let us know your biggest takeaway. Let us know what really resonated today. And as we're seeing those roll in, Laura, I remember that you said Sally Hogshead opened one of the mornings. She was a morning speaker.
She was. Mm-hmm.
What did she do like 9 a.m. with one of the audience members?
It was actually 8:15 a.m. because the conference was jam-packed. We started at 8:15, and she is a marketing genius. She's worked with BMW. She launched the Mini Cooper here in the United States. Marketing genius. And she comes out and she asks the audience, she's like, hey, who in the room has ever had a shot of Jägermeister? 90% of the room raises their hand. We've all been out at bars. We've all been pressured by our friends to have a shot of Jägermeister. And it's We all do that scrunch up face because it's nasty. The nastiest drink out there. Nobody, because then she asked the question, okay, out of the people who have had a shot of Jaeger, who likes the taste of Jaeger? Maybe 2% of the people raised their hand. If you like that black licorice alcohol cough syrup going down your throat, do you think that's fun?
Right.
But then she said, okay, so we've all had it, but none of us like it. And they still have more than 60% increase in sales every year. How is that possible? Everybody's done it, but everybody hates it. But they keep coming back for more because it's the experience. It's being in a bar with your friends, being like, oh, you've never had a shot. Oh, you got to take a shot. It's horrible. Oh, you got to do it. Okay, we'll all do it. Well, we need 10 shots of Jaeger. Okay, let's do it. You guys want to do it too? And before long, the whole bar is having shots of Jaeger, and the bartender needs to order 10 more bottles of Jaeger. So it's the experience that is tied to Jaeger.
And by
You'll be talking about how horrible it is, but you're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's bonding people, and you're coming together, and it's the whole experience. So think about what you want the experience of people who see your content, see your website, see your pictures. What's their experience from the first time they land on your site? What's their experience going to be?
It's also about feeling. Which ties into experience. We do a shot of Jaeger because of the feeling it gives us, and we know what to expect there. We know what we're in for. But like you said, nobody really likes the taste. I'm a social drinker at best. I'll have some Jack Daniels. I'll sip it. But my goodness, is it what I like? I like quiver every. It's like it's
nobody does, but you still do it.
And you know why? How do I feel when I get up to that bar and, I finally get the attention of the bartender because it's always massively crowded, right? Yeah. And he says, what would you like? How do I feel when I say, can I have Jack on the rocks, right? Yeah. Like, do I know Jack Daniels from Jack Smith? It's like, what's the difference? Am I a whiskey anything? No. So why Jack Daniels? Yeah. Because it represents something to me, right? They've established a certain experience and a certain feeling in their brand. And that's really all this is about. So that you position yourself in a certain way that people want to associate themselves with you because of all this that you've provided, the interviews with the vets and the community organizers and the insight and the strengths that you're delivering all your people. I don't like Jack Daniels, but I like the experience of holding it and, people knowing
and
that
it's
I
all part of it.
And
yep. It's all part of it. That's what we're kind of talking about your content. It's all part of the experience, the pictures, the blogs, the answering the questions. That's all about kind of from just, even if you don't drink it, just having the Jack and Coke in your hand and just kind of feeling cool. Like, oh, I want to be a part of that. I want your experience. I want you to be my pet sitter because you posted an awesome picture on your Facebook page, and I want my dog to look like that.
There you go. Right. I want to be on your website.
I want to be on your team.
Right. Yep. I see that every month you're like featuring a new client and a new client interview, and you're shooting these great videos of all of your dog. I want my dog shot in a video like that. So I'm going to hire you. Come on. Yes. And I see that you're trained, you're schooled, you're educated, you're genuine, you're authentic. You know what you're doing. I like you. Yeah. I can relate to you. I want to be part of you. Yes,
exactly. And that ties it all together with the empathy, the I see you. If you, even as a shopper yourself or whatever you're shopping for, you want to be a part of that. I want to go talk to that person. I want to go do that. I want to be that. I want a part of that. I want to be a part of your team. And that's the client that you're looking for.
And speaking of being part of our team, Gail wrote, she got so much more than she ever thought, and she hopes to be in Vegas and see if this is her true niche. Well, we'd be happy to have you in Vegas. PetSittingLive.com has all the details. Look out for the official speaking list and all of the surrounding events and things we have going on. around the speakers. It's really shaping up to be nice. I'm thrilled to see everybody got some stuff out of this. As always, you know where we are. You know where to find us. PetSittingology.com is our website of choice. We're online, facebook.com/PetSittingology. If you're a client of ours, you know you're invited into that private Facebook group. So the minute you come on board with us in that setting, you get the invite to that, where there is a ton of good support and insight going on. Any last words, Laura?
I want to do this again. There was so much at the conference. I mean, we only touched on 5. There were probably 50 points, and it's just awesome. And I'm excited to kind of share it not only with my business, but also other pet sitters, dog walkers out there to be able, let's do this. Let's do this. It's awesome.
Let's do this. Well, thank you. Keep in touch. Send us emails. Get in touch with us any way you can. We love keeping the dialogue going. Thanks for joining us and spending your time with us. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.